Hello friend! Today I'm going to share a socially conscious crowdfunder.
And I'm going to share an incredible roadmap for health. Let's get to it.
My cool sheet is a crowdfunder. It is a special kind of crowdfunder and it is called Chuffed. And specifically, this crowdfunder is for socially conscious projects. Why did they start? Okay, so back in about 2012, they asked themselves, the founders asked themselves, when you see something that needs to change in your community, what do you do? And they were like, well, is it just this idea, oh, someone should do something about that, or ranting online about how broken the system is and how people just don't get it? And instead, they thought, well, what if instead of just doing that kind of internal ranting, what if they put up their hand to do something about it, and whether it's big or whether it's small, and they knew that all around the world there are already millions of people who are doing just that. There are so many of these positive organizations that are out there trying to make a change in the world. So then they asked themselves, how can they help all these people who are trying to make these changes? And that is when they built Chuffed.org. Their goals are, first off, to make it simple to fundraise. And then secondly, to make it easy for these organizations that are trying to fundraise to find a community of people who want to support them. Because there's so many causes out there, different people in the world have different types of causes they want. So, okay, how can they find their people? And they also wanted to give the supporters, once they were found, they wanted to give them a transparent and an effective way to help and to feel good about changing the world. So in essence, it's a crowdfunding site, but it's really centered around these important issues in the world where people are trying to make these much needed changes. The timeline on their website is so great to keep an eye on what is going on, what they've done in the past, and where they're headed now. And each endeavor is a new milestone, showing that people really do want to help with these important missions and values of all of these things that are being done. And I wanted to mention a quick example. A successful project from April 2021 was focused on buying back indigenous land, where the Jaja-Wurrung people in Australia bought back their land. And this was thanks to over 1,500 people who donated over $150,000 in 8 days. Chuffed.org.
Whoa, this is so cool. This is one of those things that you are like, oh, finally, like, I'm so glad this is finally around.
Yeah,
like, I wish it was around a lot longer ago. You know, there's a lot of people that think that, you know, they can't make a difference. You know, they're just one person.
Yes, right.
How can I change the world? Now, this is something, you know, and not everybody wants to organize something in their community. They just want to be a player, a part of it, not necessarily the main person, because that's a lot of work.
Right.
So this is so cool, and for so many different reasons of how you can get involved, find your cause if you are looking for a new one. So cool.
I know.
I love this. You can probably, you know, your commitment level, however you want to, is monetary. I wonder, do they have like other opportunities to do things, or is it all just donating money essentially?
Yeah, so I think what they do is they're helping with just the fundraising stuff. But once you find out about the fundraising and more about that organization, absolutely, you could then dive in and see what opportunities they have.
Yeah, other things you could do. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Man, this is great. Just, it seems like there's unlimited potential on things that you can do.
Oh, absolutely.
So cool.
Yeah, I loved it. So I was just told about it because they had, one of their campaigns had to do with girls and women in Afghanistan and pets, actually. Anyway, someone was telling me about that, but then I looked more into Chuffed.org and I was like, this just itself is amazing.
Heck yeah.
Not like, even that one campaign was great, but this is amazing. Yeah. And I also wanted to mention for the Americans out there, chuffed isn't a word that we use a lot, but it essentially means, in Australian, it's like stoked. Like it's slang to be really pleased about something.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty chuffed about that website. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm definitely going to check that out.
Cool.
My cool sheet is a health app / blood work biomarker. It's a whole bunch of different things. It's InsideTracker. So it was founded in 2009 by experts in aging, genetics, and biometric data from Harvard, MIT, and Tufts. Now, it sounds super academic. It is. You do want that. Karen, you talked about Viome before, and so it was fun. It was interesting because I was already looking at some kind of biomarker program, and I never heard of Viome, so I looked into that one. And Wellness FX has been talked a lot about with like Tim Ferriss and Ben Greenfield, and it's kind of like the big daddy of them all. So Viome didn't have quite enough biomarkers for me. I think they test about for 30, and it's cheaper though. It's $200. And then Wellness FX, it does 92 biomarkers, but it's $925. InsideTracker is kind of this middle ground, the Goldilocks for me anyway, where it has 43 total biomarkers, so still quite a bit. It's $589, so it's about half as much as Wellness FX. And actually there's coupon codes and things you can get, so it was only $440, I think. So I basically could get 2 tests for the price of one. It does your blood work. It talks about, and the thing that I really like about this is once you get your blood work, it gets all the data. Looks at just the raw numbers, what you might or might not be allergic to. It looks at my inner age, so what my biological age versus my actual age is of my body and my health. It looks at my DNA info. There's an app that comes with it. It gives you nutrition samples. They have a blog post, a daily check-in where you see how you're feeling and if you're on the right program, because it gives you all this advice on how to improve your biomarkers. They have a podcast. I don't know if I said that. They have so many things. It's impossible to talk about in 2 minutes, but I have been so happy with this. I took my first one in, I think, November, and in November I'm going to go back in March or May, see how I did, see if I've improved, and hopefully got a little bit younger on my inner age. But definitely, if you want to learn more about your own health, check out InsideTracker.
I love all of the things that come with it, that you can learn more about yourself and your own health and all of that.
Yeah, because there are so many different things like this. And a lot of them just give blood results back and you're like, oh, you're high on leucine LX1 and deficient in blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. And they're like, this app is just like, eat more fish. Or eat less pasta, eat more whole grains versus, like it breaks it down in such a layman's terms, which I need, of like actual actionable steps that you can take every day, and it holds you accountable because you're checking in every day. Of course, they kind of gamified it where you get little streaks and badges or whatever. But I have just gotten so into my health this year. That was the one thing I really want to focus on: physical, mental health. I learned that I was 2 years older than I actually am. My biological age, and my body thinks I'm 2 years. Sometimes I feel like I'm 20 years older than my actual. But so now I got to get that reversed. So I'm taking all these steps and learning a lot about things. And yeah, it's really cool. It'll link to your 23andMe or Ancestry DNA data. So I already had that. It was a little bit extra, but then that way it says, okay, are your ancestors like less prone to caffeine or alcohol or things like this? Like, it's so much data. Like, I have barely scratched the surface, and I've learned so much about myself. Like, I cannot wait to just keep diving in further and learn more and get healthier.
Yes. At some point, you'll have to give an update.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I have to do a little 6 month, once I get my new numbers so I can really compare them and see.
Exactly.
I'm super excited about that. Yeah.
Yes.
So it is a little spendy. So those 2 tests were, $400 each. So it's like the $880. That does pay for the blood work. So you just go to your local, there you can get blood draws at various places. It tells you wherever you live, where you can go. They also, it's extra, but you can have someone come to you if you want to do a blood draw, if you don't have one near you. But in our pharmacy, any Quest, so I think it's like Safeway or Albertsons, they have blood work you can get, super easy, all paid for. You just give them the sheet, boom, boom, boom. They draw 8 vials and send it down, and you get your results in like a week and a half or so.
That's great.
Yeah, so cool. I really, I've always wanted to do this, so I'm so excited that I finally took the leap and did it.
You have talked about it for a long time.
A long time.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, because you told me a little bit, but now I have the full lowdown. So Fascinating.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool.
It sounds like it. I love it. Thank you. And if you want to learn more about it, we have links, of course, to all of our cool sheets. And for this episode, you can find it at 10bestest.com/doorway. Thank you for joining us, friend. I'm Karen McFarland Holman.
And I'm Brian Hart.
Let us know in the comments. Do you know of a community effort that needs crowdfunding?
And let us know, how do you feel about your health right now?
If you're enjoying the show, please give us a like and share it with a friend.
Stay tuned tomorrow for another great show.
And don't forget to stay curious.